Hi everybody. Folks, I've got something I need to show you. Don't turn off this video yet. As many of you know, I have been a great proponent of the current ChatGPT, which is artificial intelligence. I've put on a webinar, I've taught people, and I have shown on social media exactly how it could be used. Now, I was always concerned or curious about whether or not it could be used well in the area of politics. So I've test driven it, and to me, for the purpose intended, it's really succeeded tremendously. So today I was wondering, okay, so what about legislature? I mean, how can it be used? As you know, there's a legislative session coming up, and I just wanted to kind of test drive this to see whether or not it's worth considering, whether you're staff, you're the governor's office. And so I just want, if you're any one of those, or if you're just an interested person in government affairs, then I suggest that, hey, take a look. So I had heard that there was legislation dealing with the legalization of marijuana. Keep in mind, I'm using special tools. I'm using tools that, not many people really know about at this point in time. You see here, I said the legislation currently filed in advance of the upcoming Louisiana legislature summarized, and I gave them the link. And so I got this here in response. Information relevant to different crimes. In passing, it mentions cannabis. So I said, please summarize those provisions. And it tells me, under the proposed legislation, possession up to 14 grams of cannabis would be decriminalized, meaning that individuals caught with small amounts of the drug, up to 14 grams, would face only civil penalties here in the state of Louisiana. But then it says, the bill proposes to legalize the cultivation. I asked, are there any other states that currently legalize personal cultivation of 6 or more plants? And here it is. It gives me information about Alaska, Michigan, and so on. My next query here was, what are the obstacles to the provision about cannabis passing the Louisiana state legislature and then signed by the governor? So it responded, get this, and it responded basically saying that it didn't seem that much of an issue. It is important to note that the artificial intelligence, as intelligent as it is not perfect. It can make mistakes. It's very important to check those mistakes. I mentioned to it that there was an article that had come out just yesterday. I wrote, a local newspaper quoted Governor Edwards to say, I'm not one who favors legalizing marijuana, and I don't want something but that has THC content that is effectively the same thing. Edwards said in an interview Tuesday, you're going to see more enforcement, but you're also going to see clarification of what the law is. So I asked my friend here, would that statement by the governor affect your analysis, whether the legislation I posted above would be signed by the governor? And the response, it's difficult to make a definitive conclusion without knowing full context of the statement or the governor's position on the specific legislation. And it goes into that it's important to note that Edwards has signed certain marijuana allowances legislation. So it said, however, it needs more context from that quote from the governor. And so I came back and I said, the quote I just cited, the article I cited that quoted Edwards is from this URL. And I put the URL in there. I said, it involves the use of high concentrated hemp products that are legal, but can generate a recreational high when consumed. Does this provide more context for you? And I gotta tell you, within seconds, literally seconds, I get a response. Yes, the additional context provided by the specific article sheds more light on Edwards' recent statement. And it says the article suggests that Edwards is considering possible changes to Louisiana law related to high concentrated hemp products that are legal but can generate a recreational high when consumed. And he says the governor is quoted as saying he is not in favor of legalized marijuana and that there may be more enforcement. Then it says, therefore, the additional context provided by the article cited in the question provides a more complete picture of the governor's position on the issue of high concentrated hemp products, but it remains, and listen to this, but it remains unclear whether it would ultimately affect the analysis of whether the proposed legislation related to cannabis would be signed into law. Now, how about that? Personally, I find this to be incredible. There are so many things you can do with this. A lobbyist can analyze this and see whether or not it's accurate. If you're a legislator, you could do the same and use the information it has for your arguments. Reporters can continue doing research on this, read the articles that I've cited here based on the technology I'm using, and write their own articles. I can think of about 100 different ways I can use this technology. So are you impressed? What do you think? Are you ready for the technology and the legislature for the 21st century? I hope so. If you're interested in knowing more about this, please go ahead and contact me. Send me a message or an email. I just think it's very exciting, and I'd love to hear from you for your thoughts. Thank you.